Well, Tom, appreciate you coming to do this. It's
My
a pleasure.
Thank
I've heard good stuff about you. Your reputation precedes you. The Director of Business Development at RTI Properties Bridge Loan Division. I'm glad you're coming here to explain the different world of hard money to us. So that's the very first thing I want to dive into. Tell me what hard money is, and then I want to hear what hard money isn't, because those are important distinctions.
Well, definitely. So, there are hard money lenders, right? We kind of make a distinction. We call ourselves a true bridge lender. And a bridge lender is from one event to another. Someone's buying a 10-unit apartment building. 3 of the units are vacant. Guess what? They're not getting a conventional loan. The debt service coverage ratio isn't there. So that's one event. They're going to buy a property. They need to stabilize it or bring it to market. And the second event would be a conventional loan as an exit. And that could be, all property types. So that's true bridge. You bridge the gap between one event and the other. We want successful borrowers. Hard money, generally speaking, is for people with not good credit, poor credit, inability to pay. They're facing foreclosure, these type of events, notice of default. Now, notice of default, though, can be, in facing foreclosure, there may be a real excuse, good reason for that. And for us, it's all about the story. It may be they're going through divorce and their accounts were frozen by the court or some other type of legal event. And there could be a story where we'll do something. But hard money is traditionally for people who need a bailout. And we're not necessarily a bailout lender. We're not looking to loan to own. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who are looking to loan to own. They'd love to take over the property at 60 or 70 cents on the dollar because the borrower failed to pay, but that's not us.
That's a good distinction, the loan to own. And that's, I think, what a lot of people think is they hear that the myths of hard money are that it's somebody who's just trying to has an angle on the property.
Absolutely.
They want to get their, basically foreclose on that property at some point in time. Or it's going to be some exorbitant, crazy interest rate that they know they won't be able to afford going down the road.
Correct.
So if you could tell me a little bit about roughly where your interest rates are, because
Sure.
I know they're always in flux.
So
we just had an increase.
Yeah, 10-year treasury is 4.6 today.
Yeah.
Crazy. We do a lot of first, second combinations. We work with a lot of SBA bankers and conventional bankers and brokers. They'll bring us, with the SBA was 85 or 90% owner user purchase. So a dentist buying the strip shopping center that he's had his office in for the past few years, and now it's come available. A Latin baker in downtown LA has been there for 20 years, and the owner of the property passed away, and his widow wanted to, so he was able to buy it. We'll go up to, on a purchase, typically 75% on a purchase without some cross collateral. And I can talk about how we use cross collateral. Cross collateral is another property. We'll look at the borrower's schedule of real estate, even if they're owner occupied property, and we'll blanket the loan across that to achieve something higher than 75%. We'll go up to 85 or 90, which will match what SBA or the state guarantee will fund on an owner user purchase. And our first will be maybe 50 in this market, maybe 55% loan to value. Those rates are the best rate going for a perfect kind of multifamily is maybe 8.95 right now.
Yeah, which isn't bad.
Interest only 1 year, but it can be as high as like 11 and a quarter, 11 and a half, depending. Yeah. And then on our seconds, we're in the 13s right now, 13 flat to 13 and a half on a second. But when you do a blended rate, if we're going to go up to, let's say 85%, you have a first to 55, a second of 30% loan to value. So the blended rate might be right around 11.
Is there a difference between hard money and private money? Is there a distinction, or are those essentially?
I think it's kind of all one and the same. I say we're a private bridge lender, but these are words that, kind of terminology that I use. It sounds, but hard money, we don't, but we get all kinds of calls, and I do my best. And then if I can't do the loan, I do my best to refer out to any other lender. And because of our second trust deed platform, very unique. It's not much competition out there for second trust deeds. Nobody wants to take that on. We like the higher yield. And so because of that, we get a lot of phone calls for hard money.
Where's the money coming from that you're using to fund your deals?
So to date, it's in-house balance sheet money. Our two principals, they own thousands of doors over going on 4 decades.
Wow.
And they've built their portfolio. And when you've got 3,000 doors at a few $1,000s each door coming in every month, you've got money to put to work. Yeah. And so they're really in the phase of not necessarily wanting to be owners anymore because it's a lot, and to put their money to work. Who doesn't want 10, 12, 13%?
Typical time frame for a loan?
It can be as short as 3 or 4 days if we have a preliminary title report. But in today's world, I would say 10 days to 2 weeks, only because we don't have the bandwidth. The amount of we're getting, and we're a small, tight team. We're 8 people or so from top to bottom, loan documents, servicing, everything. And we're probably getting anywhere from 5 to 15 new loan requests a day.
Wow.
Do we close those? No, not all of them, but we give everybody, ample time, and it requires, in-depth phone conversations and emails back and forth.
I love the bakery story, by the way.
That's a fantastic story. And I'll tell you right now, that's an interesting story. So I got the call from another borrower. He owns a 70-unit building in downtown LA, not in the best area, but okay. So, and he also owns a 5-bedroom single family right next door. And this little shopping center, 7-unit shopping center in downtown LA, he said, "Hey, I'm going to have this guy call you because you did such a good job for me." And the baker calls me. It's him, his brother, and his mom. They've been there for 17 years. They've been paying rent, little corner thing. He said, I'm going to buy this place, but I don't know how to do it. So we actually, introduced him to a realtor. We're not involved in that at all, but I know commercial realtors in the area. I introduced him to a realtor, and we were able to get the transaction. But what happened? He says, "Hey, Tom," I'm talking on the phone. "Hey, Tom," he says, "I got $700,000 in a box in my house." He says, "Can I just give you guys the money and then you make the loan?" I said, "Edwin, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way." And so listen, it was kind of odd. And I said, "You got to get that money in the bank because an escrow company is not going to, they're not going to take cash anymore. It's not the old days." So he and his mother and brother started making deposits into their bank. We got it done. It was $1.5 million loan, 70% loan to value. He put 30% down. He was able to, over a couple of months, get that cash in, and we waited for him. And then we did it first, second combo. We got a senior lender who likes retail, and he did the 50 and we did the 20. And then we even, part of our goal when we do a loan, by the way, is what is the exit? Yeah. We're not an evergreen lender, so the exit's very key. So we helped arrange the exit. I introduced him to a couple SBA bankers.
I love that story. That was definitely not all about making money off a deal, because all that work you're doing, there was a whole lot of work in there you weren't paid for. It was just to help this guy get this place. Well, thank you again. Really
Thanks a lot, Christian. Really, my pleasure today.